Evening, everybody. Sunny Puzikas here, coming live at you from Fort Honey Badger in East Texas with our first episode of year 2026, our overall episode number 29 of Let Us Attend live stream. A few of you, gentlemen and ladies, that are on. If you can let me know if audio and video is all good, you can hear everything, the background music, my voice, and if you can see my irresistible beauty clearly, let me know in comments, please, and we shall proceed shortly after. Doug, Lance, Bart, how you doing? Nick. All right. Well, I guess based on comments, audio and video is all good. Hopefully, no echo or any other distractions that would not be welcome. Because today, this is second day in a row that I'm doing an episode of live stream. Last night we did Students of Violence live stream episode. Of course, not unexpected. The topic of it was the event that happened in Minneapolis a few days ago. And yesterday we dissected it more, or we tried to dissect it more on the technical level as far as what happened, how it went, whether it was good shoot or bad shoot. As much as we could, we tried to remove any kind of ideological allegiances, even legal considerations. It was more really technical dissection of what could have been done, what went on, what are objective things that could have been seen and addressed, what are the things that are more obscure and it's a guesswork. So today I'm not going to get much into that. I'm not going to be putting out any videos that I'm pretty sure most of you have seen plenty of them. I think what we're going to be talking about today is actually a little bit more unpleasant, a little bit more harder hitting topic, and that is how we collectively, people sitting at home, observing the events post factum, sitting on our comfortable couches, watching it on our phones, on our computers, with all the luxuries being afforded to us as far as slow-mo, rewatching it over and over, paying attention to this detail or that detail, and then having significant amount of insight because we had that luxury to spend some time. And it's not like we spend that time, truly objectively watching. We already read comments. We already saw from our own side, ideologically where we are, what they said, whether it was a good shot, whether she deserved it, whether he could have done something different, and on and on. As much as possible, I'm trying not to divide into left and right, although it is hard. I think today, and it's not just today, it's been the case for quite some time. The dividing line between left and right is kind of very, very blurry. But we'll talk about it a little bit today. Some of my friends, some of my possibly even students may feel that what I have to say is unexpected. They may feel maybe even offended because I may use language. Well, I guess I could do some kind of a, apologize ahead of time, but I won't. This is for adults. Most of us, at least on our papers, on our IDs, based on numbers when we were born, we are adults and we should act like adults. Yet, what has been observed on interwebs in the last few days after the events in Minneapolis leaves a lot to be desired. A lot to be desired. Chris Sanchez, that's one handsome hoodlum. That's right, baby. I appreciate Chris. You're one of those people that will appreciate my beauty, Chris. I appreciate. And Chris Shafana, how you doing, sir? I'm sorry I'm not going to be able to say hello to everybody. I see Professor Butron is here, and Brian, Mr. Henderson, Fahim, many others, Mr. Harrington. I appreciate you all being here again. As it is always the case, guys and gals, participate. Don't be afraid to say things, even if it goes contrary to my opinions, to what I have to say. If you feel that I have something that I say about, you know, some of the things that I observed in the past few days on interwebs in regards to the event in Minneapolis, if you feel that it hits you hard and you feel offended or whatnot, and you want to say something, no, this is not Vanilla Ice Life. I'm sorry, I kind of did a, misleading hook on the cover picture for this. No, I'm not gonna sing Ice Ice Baby. I'm not gonna dance. So I apologize if that's gonna disappoint some of you. Before we go, give me a few seconds. Very, very quick shout out to our sponsors. Ammo Supply Warehouse, good friends, students, people that do the right thing, people that sell good product at good price, provide incredible service. If you're looking for freedom seats, this is the place to go. AmmoSupplyWarehouse.com. Tell them that we send you. Next is this guy. I believe he's on, Doug. Iron Pig Armament. Again, the name itself probably tells you what they do and what they provide. Go to their website, check it out. Iron Pig Armament. Good product, incredible product. I'm a proud owner of a few items from Doug. You cannot go wrong with what he offers. And last but not least is For the Honey Badger body sprays, side hustle of my better half, my wife Megan. You can go to my website, check it out, and you will find the product. With that being said, let's go and talk about what we have seen. So, event in question, obviously, I don't have to recount what happened. Ongoing federal operation, ICE agents, supposedly they're getting some people that, for one reason or another, was decision was made to get them, arrest them, deport them, whatever the procedure is going to be. Being Minnesota, being Minneapolis, certainly not unexpected that you're going to have quote unquote protesters. And when I say quote unquote, because, protest, interference, or domestic terrorism, right? It's kind of like all right, this freaking blows. Are we on, guys, or we are not on? because I suddenly got two pop-ups saying that the live stream unexpectedly has ended. So let me know if you see me and you can hear me again. Okay, some people say that I'm back on. That's good to know. You said YouTube has died and no sound, huh? Well, crap. All right, so Facebook says I'm on. YouTube says that sound is better, but it's out of sync. All right, Bart says that I'm back on YouTube. All right, cool. Let us continue. We'll see how many times they will try to disconnect me and kill this damn thing for some strange reason. All right. Um, so, regardless how you look at it, some people will say, and this is again, this is such a generic and such an accurate term these days. Folks generally more of a left leaning. They will say that it was a peaceful protest. This lady with her partner showed up there pretty much as an innocent bystanders, and they just got caught up in the situation. People on the opposite side will say that these were highly motivated, highly trained disruptors of anything related to law enforcement, anything related to immigration and civil rights, and on and on and on. They were these crazy suburban liberal white women that, according to some people, should all be deported. Which, again, is kind of a interesting sentiment if you consider, right? If we were to look at, numerically, how many, I don't know, white, liberal, suburban women reside in this country that also happen to be citizens of this country. By the virtue of being white, they probably did not cross the border, went through, immigration naturalization services to acquire citizenship. Their parents probably were born here, they were born here, and on and on. So, you know, our side, so to speak, the right side, right? Deport all them quote unquote bitches. I find it funny. And I'll explain to you again, why I see it the way I see it. That while event itself was fucked up from both sides, mistakes and bad choices were made on both sides. Um, what bothers me more is really the reaction of public. Bothers me equally on both sides, but today I will go a little bit harder on quote unquote our side, the right side. Why would I do that? Um, for one, let me do a little disclaimer. As far as what stated mission of ICE is, I support it. I think if truly what they are doing, and based on some information, apparently there's quite a bit of that they have done, which is finding, arresting, and removing illegal immigrants with serious criminal rap sheet. I'm all for it. I absolutely have no problem with it. Now, I don't know about you dudes, but someone being brown, Mexican, from El Salvador, from Honduras, from Venezuela, whatever, simply based on that to drag people, as I've seen some videos from where they work at Target, and then later come to find out that some of these people are actually citizens. Mm, I don't know. To some degree, it bothers me. I understand certain parameters. I understand certain metrics, that there are certain commonalities as far as what kind of people are more likely to be legal. Would they be the ones that look like me, or would they be more likely to look like Jose over there on the neighboring property? I get it. Again, folks from the left will start screaming, that's fucking profiling. No, that's not profiling. you know, numbers are pretty damn cold. And if you look at it of how many people of Latino background are in the country illegally, and then other information available as far as how many, and I'm not talking, percentages or whatnot, but numbers, significant number with some serious list of things that, regardless whether you're legal or illegal, you probably should be spending some time in places not so distant. But the way things are being done, this is not about dislike of ICE or any other law enforcement organization for that matter, although I do have certain things to say about that, but that's a separate topic. But we say that, so here are these lesbian ladies out there in Minneapolis doing their thing, harassing, interfering, blocking traffic, screaming, honking, using whistles, calling federal agents names, come at me, big boy, and on and on and on. I don't know. Have you guys read anywhere in Constitution, in Bill of Rights, that protesting or expressing your opinion has to fit in some kind of a framework of politeness? If some crazy ass looking lesbian woman there calls federal agent, unpleasant name, a thug, a Nazi, a fascist, a murderer, whatever, fuck you, all these other things that are happening all the time, I submit to you, and some people will say, "Well, that's unfair. That's not equal, playing field." That agents that work for that federal agency should have enough patience, enough mental discipline to not react emotionally. I know some people will say easier said than done. When you spending a whole day doing hard work, catching criminals, putting them in cuffs, shoving them in the back of the fucking vans and SUVs and all that stuff, it's a stressful day. It's cold out there. People are all day harassing you, calling your names, screaming, blocking traffic, and all that stuff. Okay, I get it. Did somebody force you to do this job? I submit to you, most of those dudes applied for the job. They are not some Ukrainian dudes running around in fucking Dnipropetrovsk or Kiev or whatnot and being snatched off the street, put into ICE uniform, giving a gun, and being told, go and do this. Question: what is the line from verbal harassment? Let me get this up here. What is the line from verbal harassment to impeding and interfering? I don't think that verbal anything. Again, harassment is an interesting word. It's kind of again like a beauty, right? It's in the eyes of the beholder. If I see that, if something is being said to me, and I feel harassed, okay, how is this different when you're being called Nazi? But if you look at the dude who decided that day that he identifies as a lady and goes in the women's bathroom, you call him a pedo, you call him a fag, you call him any other names. In his eyes, that's definitely harassment. That's hate speech, right? At the same time, for us, people that agree, and I'm assuming majority of my listeners do, that there are two genders. Gender is not identity. Gender is biological fact. Look down between your legs. Do you have a stick or do you have a hole? That answers your questions. That's my opinion, and we may agree to disagree. That's fine. But no, I don't believe in this country, in America, citizens have a duty to speak softly, nicely, and respectfully when they are disagreeing with something, when they don't like something. And we all have a right to have our opinion about how they say it, what they say, and all that stuff. But they have absolutely the same right to say what they say. To me, freedom of speech is pretty damn absolute. There is no hate speech. There is a speech I may hate, but there is no hate speech. It's either free speech or not. So I don't know, guys. To me, I really, hold on a second. Let me just put something out here. There you go. To me, this whole thing of, is there a line between harassment and then interfering with the actual investigation and or operation? I think until they are physically blocking, pushing, touching, interfering with movement, that is not anything that they do with their mouth, that is not interfering. Now, you can say from the, if you speak legalese, that language, the legal language, if they say, I wish you died, is that a threat? No, it's a wish. I'm going to kill you. That's different. The laws are the way they are. And if, according to those laws, that constitutes something that you can say that it's something that people can be arrested for, then that's the law. Whether you agree, disagree with that law, it doesn't matter in a sense of what law enforcement will do. Now, if someone says you're a faggot to a federal law enforcement officer, is that arrestable offense? I submit to you it's not. If a person throws a jar of piss in your face while calling you a faggot, you arrest her or him, not because they called you a faggot, because of the bodily fluid, and that's an assault. So now if we look at what these two ladies and other people present there did, was that a peaceful protesting? Did they make contact with any of the officers? No. Were they preventing or impeding free flow of movement, traffic, and I'm not just talking about vehicles that belong to ICE officers and law enforcement, but others. Yes. Is that something to be arrested for? That's a call. That's a call to be made. Interpretations are many, and it's not just interpretations from the ideological standpoint, ideological allegiances, but also the way the law is written, because it is kind of vague. Generally speaking, my understanding is that they would go to give a warning. They would walk up to these people, give a warning, and I don't know. I'm assuming, because according to what's been reported, that these two ladies specifically, they have been active prior for quite some time, participating in their activism. Maybe they have received warning before, maybe they haven't. Again, I don't want to go too deep into technicalities of what happened when she parked her Honda Pilot SUV in such a way that it was preventing traffic going through. You can see her waving one vehicle through. The truck with ICE officers pulls up. And somebody really doesn't like that. Hey Rev, let me know if I'm back on, because it just shut me down twice again. I have no idea why, because I don't think I'm saying anything very controversial just yet. But this is freaking annoying. I was looking forward to hurt some feels and offend some people, and there they are giving me trouble. And I do have good connection, so that's not a connection issue here, because it pops up on my screen that contact customer support. What the fuck? Restream, we're gonna have to talk. I don't like what's going on here. All right, so apparently I'm back on, at least for now. All right. Anyway, technicalities wise, what happened there, whether that officer should have walked in the front, what is the reason why he was walking in front of that vehicle, should have they parked that truck in front to prevent her from trying to take off if they're trying to arrest her, and on and on and on. Guys, at this point, there's going to be only one side of the story, and that's going to be the story of the officer. Uh, will that story be true? Who's to guess? I mean, who's going to be the judge? Is the officer telling the truth? If lady was alive, who's to say that she would tell the truth? It's he said, she said. But here's where the problem, in my opinion, here's where the biggest problem is. He said, she said, what happened there? What was his intent? What was her intent? We'll never know. Each side will judge based on their ideological allegiance. And the funny thing about the ideological allegiances is this: nobody on either side wants to take a approach that two statements can be true at the same time. She made a lot of mistakes. Now, is that a mistake of her being there? From the ideological standpoint, if you disagree with her stance of trying to save the innocent Somalis in Minneapolis, you will say, yeah, she should have stayed home with the kid. Yet some of you who will say that, back in 2020 or January 6, 2021, not all of you were home. During the pandemic, some of you, me included, went out into public. If something happened, the left side, right, would have said about me if I got whacked by Richardson Police Department while I was out in Dallas with my rifle. He should have stayed home with kids. You guys being on the right side would go, fuck you, he was exercising his rights. Just because I disagree with what that lady stands for does not take away her right to be out there, whether she has kids or doesn't have kids. Who the fuck are you guys? And I'm not addressing you guys watching, but anyone who make comments like that, and you know, that's sort of a thing that we've seen plenty of in the past few days. Who the fuck are you to tell people, a citizen, an American, stay the fuck home, stay out of this business? Because a lot of Americans would say that, well, that kind of like sounds like Soviet Union or Nazi Germany or People's Republic of China or Iran. Anyone can go out there and express their opinion, and they do not have an obligation to express that opinion in the right, in a nice way, with the white gloves, using very, very, clean language, no offensive words being said, no voice being raised. Now, if you spit at the officer, it's probably going to come with the consequences. You try to hit the officer, it's going to come with the consequences. I'm not an officer, but if I'm standing there expressing different opinion than you and you try to hit me, there probably will be consequences. I may do it in a smart way, but there might be consequences. Actions and consequences, this is a package deal, ladies and gentlemen. Action is not sold without consequence. And by the way, that affects both sides. The ladies in question, specifically one lady who didn't make it, unfortunately, and the officer too. Action have consequence. People go like, what do you mean action have consequence? Okay. So you've seen these two ladies harassing, whatever language you're going to use, being stupid, being loud, fucking obnoxious lesbians out there, protecting the worthless Somalis. You're totally entitled to think all that. I'm not offended by that language. In some cases, about some of those people, I looked at the list of people that have been arrested by ICE in Minneapolis in the past few weeks. There's some bad fucking hombres on that list. I'm talking like forceful sodomy on underage kids. And I'm not talking 17-year-olds. I'm talking kids. Were all of them Somalis? No. Some were from Sudan. Surprisingly, there were a lot of people from Laos. There were quite a few Asians. There were Latinos. There were blacks. Some of them with deportation orders since 2016. For some reason, they're walking free and doing things. This is one of the reasons why I do support a stated goal of ICE operations. Stated goal is removing illegal, dangerous criminals from this country. I have no problem with such goal. Zero problems. Now, operationally, how they do it, we may agree, we may disagree. The point is, it's a government entity. When was the last time you saw something that came from the government that worked really well? Or it made sense? Or it was efficient? It's been a long time since I've seen it, if ever. If ever. But here's what bothers me. Well, many things bother me. People look at it and the language that's being used. She moved the vehicle in a threatening way. Moved the vehicle in a threatening way. What constitutes the threat? Vehicle moving or you being in front of the vehicle? People go, well, like, well, he's a law enforcement officer. If he decides to step in front of the vehicle, that's his decision, because that's at that point they have initiated a procedure to arrest this lady, to remove her from the vehicle. He has a right to be there. Don't disagree. There's a lot of different statutes, but again, ICE operates under different rules. I know in some localities and in some states there have been things and SOPs within police departments about officers not being in front of the vehicles. ICE does not have those limitations. So him being in front of the vehicle, as far as his job description and SOPs, he didn't break them. Does that make him right? Well, I'm going to ask some of you gun people, right? Because many of you here are gun people. You probably heard that question in classes, and not just my classes. In the gunfight, what is more important, to shoot the bad guy or not be shot by a bad guy? Most people will answer pretty directly, to not be shot by a bad guy. So now, if you've been watching this lady and other people throughout the day, harassing, being loud, being disrespectful, being obnoxious, being confrontational, and all that stuff, reasonable thinking adult. Let me add one more qualification. A 10-year veteran professional of Special Response Team of ICE who has significant experience under his belt of removing actually dangerous people. Mr. Powell, rules of engagement are not an excuse to objectively do things that don't make sense, or risk to benefit ratio is not in your favor. Rules of engagement is a pretty damn cheap cop-out, if you ask me. Again, is this a jump on that specific officer? No. It isn't. But to my mind, as an adult, as a professional who has been removing dangerous criminals all day and over the past 10 years, if I'm seeing people like these two ladies, I'm probably not going to step in front of that vehicle, but I do have this Dodge Ram thing that I can park in front of it. Right? But again, if you look at our comments, and when I say our, I use collectively, either side, left, right, however you wanna quantify it. Here's already a comment here. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. I'm assuming that comment, and I might be wrong, so if I am, correct me. That comment is directed at the lady who got shot. I submit to you, it goes both ways. Officer found himself in the position to make a choice, and he made a choice to engage because he played a stupid game by being in front of the vehicle that, logically thinking, I would submit has had above average chance of avoiding being arrested, meaning they would try to escape. Russian-Ukrainian 54, I wouldn't exactly call them ladies. It's personal choice. I mean, I can be a tough guy here and call them bitches, right? I'm sure that will raise my stock in some people's eyes. But I'm past the stage in my life where I have to play a tough guy. I'm past that stage, my man. You know, to me, it's easy to like and even love people that you agree with. If we claim to be any kind of Christians, okay, or people of faith, or whatever, or just basic term, humans, please tell me any of you participating in rabid animals is a better term for those ladies. You know what? Again, ideological allegiance from your side of the way you see things and what has happened. What do you think they see you as? They see you as a fucking Nazi. Now, are you? No, I'm pretty sure you're not. Okay. But playing up to our side, to those who wave our color flag, right? Do you think that people on the other side, they have a lot of people that go like, no, these people are just emotionally involved, and they are emotionally triggered and it's impulsive responses and they use such language. Never mind that we use that language too against officers or other, on both sides, there's plenty. There's plenty. Right? So we talk shit because we're tough guys. There's a good song by my favorite band, Tool, called Vicarious. I like to watch things die from a distance. Okay, hold on. I see some question here. Let me read it on the screen here. Sonny, the question of trying to escape. Ask myself that same answer. Then why didn't she allow her partner get in the car? She was trying to get in, as shown by one video. Rich, okay, I'll try to answer, although this is not a technical dissection. So we hear the side that says that this was a good shoot, right? They say, well, officer had very limited time under duress and under stress to make a best decision. He acted in very compressed time frame based on information that he had. He had no chance to look down to see which way the wheels are turned. He had no chance to realize, he had no time to realize that she was turning the wheel in that direction that kind of like indicates that maybe she's not trying to run him over but escape. I can give benefit of a doubt. It was a short time. It was under duress. It was under stress. People without significant amount of training, and Rich, you know me. You've seen me. You've seen me work. Okay. If I come at you quickly with stuff that I do, I submit to you without significant amount of training, you will not see the T-Rex in that backyard over there. You will not see what my left foot is doing. Because your whole being is going to be what? In that pipe. This is you, Rich. Airborne. Served in military. Has seen action. What the fuck, Rich, do you expect from a woman who went to some kind of a training of how to do civilian disobedience? Have you seen the training of Antifa, how to punch people? You think they prepared to act in the high duress, high pressure environments to react with objectively best decisions in the split seconds, whether someone is yelling, go baby, go, or she's trying to open the door? Her whole fucking vision is on what? There is a dude at the driver door and he's about to slap a fucking matching set of bracelets on. I don't like it. Go. Okay. What she heard, what she hasn't heard, we cannot ask her anymore. As far as what her partner or wife or whatever you want to call in those relationship was yelling, we don't know. We can't possibly know. If she wasn't shot, if she said something in court, how do we know she wouldn't be lying? Same question goes about the officer. Some people on the left will say, like, well, 100% proof that this was murder is him saying fucking bitch after he fired 3 shots. When something happened, when something does something to you that you dislike, or it was slightly unexpected, or it happened quick and you kind of went, whoa, right? Fucking bitch. Gentlemen, answer me. How many of you, while you're driving on the road, whether in the city or on the highway, someone swerves or someone hits the brakes faster and you go like, motherfucker, or this or that? Right? So again, if we have this luxury now to sit back and watch the videos, and whichever flag we want to wave, we want to fucking project this thing like, no, officer was 100% right. On the other side, he was just fucking psychopathic murderer and she didn't do nothing wrong. How about he fucked up, she fucked up? And both statements are true. And both statements are true. But the heavier burden, hate it or not, like it or not, doesn't matter. The heavier burden on that is on whom? It's on the officer. Because in that relationship, in that event, he's the adult and she's a petulant child. Petulant children do things. Some of it doesn't make sense. Some of it is stupid. Some of it may be even dangerous. And just because law says or SOP says that you can do that, you doing that, whatever your responses to that action is, does it make it right? You know, actually, let me put this comment on. It's George Floyd 2.0, but she's white and nobody cares about white people dying by cops or feds. Interesting comment. Actually, we discussed it yesterday, and I kind of threw out maybe a little bit of a controversial statement. And I think it's probably controversial because it's very painfully true. If this lady was not shot, you guys realize that at this point we would already have quite a few voices out there that the only reason they didn't shoot her because she was white. There would be some racial justice warriors out there calling basically for riots, which is kind of would be funny, saying like, you should have shot her just like you killed George Floyd, just like you did this, just like you did this to this person of color or whatnot. Some people say it's a speculation. Guys, there's plenty of examples of that happening before. When the white person does something, commits the crime, and he's taken in alive, because you can look at the crime committed by this dude over there in South Chicago and by this dude committed what he committed somewhere in Nashville, Tennessee, and the black fellow in South Chicago gets smoked by cops, and the white fellow in Nashville, Tennessee gets arrested. Okay, You will see a lot of social media personalities. You will see a lot of nationally recognized voices of racial justice and all that stuff saying that this is proof of racism. Because if this dude in Nashville was black, he would certainly have been smoked. And that leads me to something that this whole episode is about. We like being right, all of us, whichever side you on. You know the problem with that? Being right does not mean that you found the truth. The metric of your right is determined by your tribe. Yes, and you're right. She fucked up. She should have not been there if I was saying things like that. Or if I'm on the other side, yeah, he's a psychopath killer. You're right, son. How about both? She fucked up on many accounts. He fucked up on number of accounts. The policy is fucked up on number of accounts. The tactics, the SOPs are fucked up on number of the accounts. The rhetoric on both sides is fucking things up further on many accounts. The way we comment about things, bitch deserved it. Bitch got what she asked for. Gentlemen, let me ask you a question. So, rabbit bitch, right? You want to call her rabbit lesbian? They shut me down again, man. Goodness gracious, this is probably the most shutdowns I have ever experienced during any of the live streams. I don't know. Maybe it's my language, maybe it's the topic, maybe something is going on with fucking restream. Yeah, YouTube moderator. I don't think it's a YouTube, man. I don't think it's YouTube because it shows me that here on the Restream app that I got shut down. Again, as I said, this is fifth or sixth time today. Oh well, we'll continue. I'm able to get right back in. You guys hear me all right now? All right, cool. So, do you think that you can, when you say that this woman or this bitch fucked around and found out she deserved it? Look at her. Her slumped dead body is leaning right now, but she started on the left. It's pretty fucking cool. It's pretty damn funny. Do you think most women reading that, they look at you and they go like, that's my boy. That's my man. Not only he's sarcastic as fuck and funny and hardcore, but he really, really projects all the qualities of alpha male. Do you think that women truly see that, feel that way? You know, interesting fact. How many of you guys here listen to some heavy music? Let me ask you in particular, Megadeth, Dave Mustaine, one of the originals of Metallica, who then started Megadeth after he got kicked out of Metallica for excessive drinking and drugs and all that stuff. I've seen Megadeth live a couple of times. Fucking incredible. That woman who got shot, she is actually a relative of Dave Mustaine. William Powell, Kiss is not heavy music. Kiss is a pop music with some guitars, okay? Kiss is not heavy music. Sorry to offend you. Lamb of God, nah. That's fine. Anyway, You know, I know people that are close to me, that are very conservative. Some of them are very much religious, all in all, good people, salt of the earth people. And some of them somehow, somewhere in life, I didn't investigate, I didn't, did any kind of like questioning or whatnot, but something somewhere happened. And some of these people have kids that, I don't know, a young lady chooses to be a lesbian because of the environment with other women of that orientation and all that stuff. Gradually, ostensibly, she probably stands a higher chance of being indoctrinated into certain ways of thinking and seeing things and on and on and on and on, right? And sometimes I'm thinking, what if the lady who got shot in the face was a daughter of someone I know, your neighbor, the good old man that works at the grocery store where you shop? Would you? And I'm asking you, gentlemen, honestly, and I don't give a fuck if you want to play up a tough guy and all that stuff. You know what? You're being a cuck. And if I offend you, get the fuck out of here. So, would you walk up to that old guy who works in that grocery store, who you've known for years or maybe decades? Incredible guy, always polite, always nice, but something somewhere in life, whether in his parenting or something else has happened or whatever, we don't know. We don't know. His daughter became a lesbian. She got more of a left leaning, and then she got maybe even radicalized, that some would say, or whatnot. And then she participated in something like that when she should have stayed home with kids. The tough guy says, who 4 years ago was fucking walking there against the COVID restrictions and all that. You should have stayed at home because you could have got shot. Right? Would you say to that old guy, your little bitch daughter got what she deserved? You don't need to answer it to me. You don't need to fucking be a little cocksure warrior out here in the comments and go like, fuck yeah, I would do it. In my old country, if you would do that, you would get your skull fucking split. It's called basic human respect. It's not about just chivalry or whatnot. It's basic human respect. There is time to speak and be blunt and be direct. There is time to shut your fucking mouth. It's called discernment. Adults do that. It's called adulting. And if you don't know how to adult, and if you're acting like a little bitch because you sound like a 16-year-old punk, fuck that guy, he deserved this. Fuck that bitch, she deserved that. I'm sorry, I don't have much nice to say to you. You're acting like a bitch. You think that you're being seen as alpha? I have news for you. More like a cuck. So you say that there is no basic human respect left in blue cities? Do you see a lot of it left in the red cities? Alex, and when me and you talked about John McCain and now what's his name, Lindsey Graham, somewhere deep down in us we go like, man, I wish he just croaked, right? But then again, as hard as it is to believe, at some point, somewhere, someone, John McCain was not a political figure. He was a dad. We don't know what kind of father he was. Of course, his children will say he was amazing. We don't know. I don't disagree with you about smaller conservative towns versus the big blue cities. I don't disagree with you. But this is also not in absolute terms, man. It's not in absolute terms. Hey, Lewis, you know, and guys, seriously, this is what bothers me because I'm talking to our side, whatever our side means. People more like us, I guess. And not all of us are here. I've seen some people here in the comments that are more on the other side, however you want to fucking define this side or that side. But they have different opinions. But I can only talk to, quote unquote, my people. We should know better. And I'm not talking that we are wiser, but we should know better. Yeah, Bart, I wasn't going to say it, my brother, but it should give you a pause because I know Charlie and I know her political views, so to speak, and on and on. God forbid if something like that happened to Charlie. Tell me it wouldn't be personal and like personal, like blood running personal. If some cock said that Charlie, that bitch, deserved it. It's hard talk, brother, but we are big ass grown up men. I have friends who are very, very conservative that have quite liberal leaning wives, daughters, sisters. What's up, gentlemen? What's up, tough guys? You have to prove your toughness in the public forum, calling people names, rejoicing that they got shot in the face. You think that raises your fucking stock in some way, shape, or form? In whose eyes? Someone who sees you as a bigger man for doing that? Let me use the word. Some of your friends that see you that way do that. If they see it that way, you probably should leave those friends. They're fags. They beta cucks. Harsh enough? People go like, whoa, 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 why are you being so harsh against your own people, against your own size? As I said, because we should know better. We should be the grown-ups in the room, like that officer should have been a grown-up on that fucking street. Yes, harder task on him because it's his job. Rev, it's not about that point, Bart. It's not about that point whether Charlie would or wouldn't. I'm saying, hypothetically speaking, any more left-leaning lady, if she had this or something she felt very passionate about because it touched someone that she's very close to, maybe a coworker, maybe a lifelong friend or whatnot, and she went out there and she protested and something happened and she got emotionally involved because there's other people, there's noise, there's pressure, there's peer pressure, there's emotional thing, there's impulse. And she did something, said something, someone touched, she pushed back, boom, she shot in the face. It's tough, guys. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's easy to abandon our ideological allegiance. If you think it's easy for me to say what I'm saying now to my people, you're fucking wrong. I would rather be fucking celebrated by most of you going like, yeah, Sonny's fucking going hardcore. Fuck that bitch. No. No. I will say that's a pussy approach. And when I say pussy, it's with one S, pusillanimous. I'm not offending a female anatomy. So, I don't know, dudes. I really, Bart, me and you spoke in relatively early days of pandemic, and then a few more times. And you said, I see the revival. I hate to be a pessimist, my brother. I see us heading in the dark direction. And events like that, to me, illustrate it pretty well. When Charlie Kirk got murdered, we saw the worst of the other side. Now we're showing our worst. Let me respond to something because I already responded. She was looking right at the agent when she hit the accelerator. It wasn't an accident. Sir, have you ever been punched in the face by someone who really knows how to punch 5 times in 1 second? And I mean fucking punch hard. Like coming at you with boom, 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 everything. You know what? Let's get nasty. Let's put a knife in there. Let me know how much do you see as far as the color of my shoes, if I'm reaching for something in my pocket, or what is my intent. You won't. You're going to be in a tunnel vision, auditory exclusion, and complete ignorance of what's going on around that very, very narrow wire of your fear, misery, and just get me the fuck out of here. That's where that woman was. She is not trained fighter. She is not a professional law enforcement who has situational awareness where she sees further out. She doesn't. Yeah, then hit him 5 times back. Okay, tough guy. I got you. And, not to pick on you, sir, not to, but this is to me the attitude. Because we make an assumption because we want to be 100% right that bitch deserved everything. She saw it. It was intentional. How do you know? What do you understand about psychology of tense and very dense situations? Maybe you understand about psychology of a trained man, if you are a trained man. Maybe you understand the psychology of a male, if you are male. What do you know how women react in these situations? What is their perception of what's going on? How much can they see and perceive? People were laughing about those videos. Okay, it took like 2 days for people to start making comments. Did you see a fucking T-Rex in that front yard? Yeah. Our attention gets drawn into the human eye plus human brain plus training plus there's so many metrics and factors works in such a way that you can have Madonna fucking a donkey 2 feet from what you're looking at and you're not going to see it. You're not going to see it. Over 26 years of teaching people, I can tell you that people ran into the rooms in force-on-force training, high-stress scenarios. I'm talking former Marines with few tours in Iraq. And they didn't see, I saw my dear wife is in the comments. They didn't see my dear wife who was standing on the table in the middle of the room. This is not a bullshit story. Some of the guys here have been through that class back at Patriot Protection in Dallas. So please, when people say, she saw it, it was intentional and all that stuff, assumption. And if it was just assumption without the political allegiance motivational factor being the reason for that assumption, I would be all right. My problem is that we're making those assumptions and accusations because of our ideological allegiance, which means we want to be right, but we don't give a fuck about the truth. Because truth sometimes is uncomfortable. An uncomfortable truth is this, that both sides made wrong choices. More than one, more than two. This was not a good shoot. And the reason why it was not a good shoot, because mistakes compounded on both sides, and both sides kept making wrong choices. Again, I'm coming back to what I said earlier. The gravity here is on the shoulders of the adult in the room. And in this situation, adult in the room was the officer, not that lesbian chick at the wheel of that Honda. It sucks to say it that way, right? Because it seems like I'm taking the side of the lefties who want to fucking protect the criminal, illegal Somalis that are stealing hundreds of millions of dollars of funds to run their fake daycare fucking scams and all that shit. Sonny, you standing with them? Hell no, I'm not standing with them. I told you already more than once. Overall, as a stated goal of what ICE, they stating this is what they're trying to do, which is reach, find, arrest, deport illegals with criminal history. I'm for it. Some of people on the left here, my good friend Lance, and I know Lance says I'm in the center, I'm not on the left. Again, these are perceptions, buddy. Okay? He will probably don't like that I'm saying that. But me and Lance have had many disagreements over the years. Am I talking shit about Lance? No. Lance still offers some of the best cuisine in East Texas. You know, in my eyes, Lance is a lefty, but he's the kind of lefty that brought out a fucking AK in his dining room in his restaurant in Tyler for me to sign with other patrons present there. So what's up? Me and him don't see the same way on the immigration. Me and him don't see the same way about lesbians and gays and LGBTQ and on and on. Big time differences. But does that mean that we should rejoice if someone who thinks like my friend Lance here gets shot in the face? What it makes us. What it makes us. William Powell, the damn Democrats. Sir, let me tell you something. Democrats, Republicans, it's two heads of the same fucking snake. And if you don't see it by now, it's a separate discussion. I'm not going to get into that. You know, no new wars. Yeah. Anyway, separate discussion. Do I like Democrats? Hell no. At this point, I don't like Republicans either. So what's up? All right, guys, give me some of your questions or comments. I mean, I'm sorry I did not look through all the comments. I saw some, but it's kind of hard. So let me put this comment here. Not this one. This one right there, right? So Mr. Powell says, but the damn Democrats are feeding lies and so much deceit, and they want to instigate everything. All right. Have they done plenty of it? Agreed. Agreed. But when you say the damn Democrats, but you don't mention any lies from the opposition, so-called opposition of the Democrats. America first, really? Do you see America first? No foreign wars, really? Do you see that? We need to wake up from this, because they, whatever you're going to define who they are, They're looking at us on both sides as a useful fucking idiots because we are talking shit about the other side to be liked by our side because we're talking tough shit, man. It's hard shit that I'm spewing. I'm cool like that. People go like, Ocasio-Cortez and Bernie Sanders, they're socialists. They're the furthest fucking thing away from socialists. You think Joseph Stalin was a communist? You think Leonid Brezhnev was a communist? They were capitalists. And they used ideology of communism to create a big army of useful idiots and gave them something to hate. And they ate it up. We're allowing them to do that. And even with this one, so to speak, little event, right? Because it's just one life. You know, Joseph Stalin many years ago, you know what he said? One death is a tragedy. 1,000,000 is a statistic. I want you to kind of dwell on that a little bit. It's a hard one. It's really a hard one to dwell on. Not that one. Right there. All right. Replying to William Powell agreed, but go listen to the initial statement from the White House and DHS about the subject right after it happened. They lie. They all lie. No disagreement. No disagreement whatsoever. They all lie. It's just that we're willing on either side of the spectrum, however fucking fucked up that spectrum is, you know, okay, we will accept certain lies from our side, but we will certainly point out the lies that we don't like. Right? That's how it works. That's how deceiver works. And deceiver can be that guy, or deceiver can be in Washington, D.C., or Chicago, or Brussels. George Soros is not the only deceiver, gentlemen. We like to find this one big enemy, this boogeyman. China. China is going to destroy our country. We have much heavier enemies in Washington, D.C. to this country and to what it's supposed to be like than we have in Beijing. And we're playing into their game. And go like, what's the big deal if I make this comment about this fucking crazy lesbian who got shot? Death by 1,000 cuts. That's the big deal. All right. Anyway, guys, I've been on for 2 hours. I need to piss really bad. I've been drinking coffee. I don't want this, to be an endless rant. I just wanted to kind of put it out there for people to think, reflect, and use a little bit metacognition. Think about what you think. Be aware of what you're saying, not just how cool it is, but is it truly, are you speaking the truth? Or you're making statements to be liked, to support what you want to believe? I didn't do any commerce today. I didn't put on any QR codes for upcoming classes and all that. Go to my website. You know what that website is. Hold on. Where is this shit? There you go, sunnypuzikas.com. We have a bunch of classes coming up. Sign up, get training. After training, we talk about these things while drinking good beer or eating good food. God willing, someday we'll go back to Tyler and shoot shit with Lance at his place once they finally take care of that fucking plaza in downtown Tyler. Guys, before I piss myself, I'm going to go Thank you all for participating. I appreciate that. Sunny Puzikas here. And it's been the first episode of 2026 of Let Us Attend. I will see you next Tuesday. May God bless.